Hey guys, we're going to talk about objection handling today. Oh, objection handling. This is uh, this is one of those things in life, guys, that we make such a big deal out of, and it's so easy to take away the power of these objections. Um, Objections are a natural part of the sales process. You know, it's probably the key point I hope I could get you to take away today. You're gonna hear them. Anybody that tells you, and these internet guys that think they're great at selling and they've sold this and they've sold that, they tell you they can get a system down where you'll never get objections. They're just completely full of it. Okay, you guys are probably a little over all the internet hype about what is and what isn't. It doesn't exist. You're gonna get objections. Don't worry about it. Doesn't mean you did anything wrong. I mean, they're coming. You know, I mean, if you were at a bus stop and there was a 7:30 bus and you're waiting there at 7:25 and 5 minutes later a bus shows up, you wouldn't be very surprised, right? You'd be surprised if it didn't show up. It's the same with the objections. Don't be shocked when they come up. They're coming. Couple of things about how to handle them. Number one, it's best to get objections, take away their power in the beginning of the sale. I've taught you guys about how to use the agreement. This is after you've collected information on the client and you're going to go out and do a workout with them. Simply make an agreement with them. This is an easy thing to do. Hey, Sally, before we get out on the workout floor, I want to make a deal with you. What's that? We can get you where you want to go. We know. We have the expertise. We have the tools. We have the motivation. We have everything it takes to get you to your goals, to make these a reality. But I need something from you. I need you to make a deal, to shake on it, that today is the day you make a change, that today is the day that starts a new life for you. We got a deal? And shake their hand. This is a really powerful technique. My sales went up probably 30-40% after I started doing this. This was years ago. And I've never stopped. Doesn't mean it's not saying you have to buy training. Doesn't mean you have to sign up with me. The deal is I can help you, but you've got to decide that today is the day you make a change. You've got to act. And you guys know a big theme at Sales Train is just getting people to act. When they act, they'll end up buying as a side effect of acting. That they take a stand and decide, hey, you're right. I should be living a better life. I should be healthier. I should probably clean it up a little bit. I should get stronger. I should probably lose some weight. All the stuff we hear. Okay, so your job is to get them to say, you know what, today's the day I'm going to do that. Because every decision happened on a certain day and a certain hour, right? I mean, whether you decide to get healthy now or 10 years from now, there's going to come a day where you do it. By emphasizing this agreement, more people will make today the day, which is great for them and it's great for you. You get a sale, they get another shot at having a healthier life. Okay, so pretty basic stuff. So number one thing about getting rid of objections or lessening their power, I should say, you're never going to get rid of them, is take away their power by having that agreement. So once again, you're about to go out on the workout floor to show them how great a trainer you are and let them have a taste of what you do. Say, hey, Sally, before we go out, let's make a deal. I'll give you everything it takes for you to make these changes, but you gotta tell me, make today the day that you make this change, that you decide to make this change. You're gonna put your foot down, stand up for yourself, stop the excuses. Today is the day we make a change. We got a deal? Good. Shake on it. You'd be surprised. This takes away a lot of the hesitation and the stalling techniques that you'll hear later. I need to think about it. I got to check with my spouse. It's not the right time. It's too much money. All the stuff that you're going to hear. Making that agreement before you go work out really takes away a lot of the power of that objection. Remember, guys, objections are a natural part of the sales process. They're coming anyway. So if they're coming, just take their power away. So now you're in the spot, you're presenting, and you've laid out your programs and your pricing, and there's still a hesitation. Hey, this is great. I need to think about it. Um, Whatever all the objections really are the same, um, just expressed differently. Um, my tip to you is to find a middle ground. You could almost call it a compromise. I know compromise kind of has a negative tinge to it, but really, not compromises are not all bad, right? Um, if I'm flying somewhere, maybe I want to fly, first class on Virgin Atlantic, but I fly maybe business class on Delta or something. If I'm going to stay at a hotel, maybe I want to stay at the Ritz for 10 days straight, but maybe I stay at a Hilton instead, right? It's even in our training, right? Just look at sets and reps. I like sets of 5. And sets of 5 is kind of the best compromise to get the adaptation that you want. You could do 10 reps. You could do 1 rep. You could do 100 reps. Don't do 100 reps. You could do 3 reps, but 5s have been kind of shown to be the best middle ground, the best compromise to get what you want, which is size and strength in that case. Anyway, so when you get an objection, just say to yourself, hey, I just have to probably find a better middle ground. There's a program and there's a monetary number monthly that they're going to be able to do. All you got to do is just get them there. So just put some options in front of them. One of my favorite questions to ask people when they give me the objection is just if I could just make a suggestion. Right? I mean, somebody says, Dan, it's too much money, or I got to talk to my spouse. I just say, hey, I understand. I gotcha. Hey, could I make a suggestion? They always say yes. I say, I understand that you need to check with your spouse. I totally get that. I'm married too. There's a program here that is more affordable. Maybe we look at getting you on board this way. We can always upgrade later. But why don't we start on something that not only gets you your health back and gets you on this road to these goals, but also keeps everybody in the good graces of your spouse. And then present something that's maybe a bit of a compromise, a middle ground. Maybe instead of them training with you X amount of times per month or per week, you simply show them something that's a little less frequent. Right? The idea, guys, is to sell your service, is to sell the training. It's not, you don't get an award at the end of the year for selling the biggest packages to everybody all the time. You want to do volume. You want to get a lot of people using your service. So if you're selling more, I'd rather sell 3 medium-sized deals a day where somebody's seeing me a couple times a week than sell 1 humongous package, once a week. I want volume. You're going to want volume. You want full books. You want a lot of people. So I got to think about it, Dan. There's some kind of hesitation, some kind of stall. I got to check with my husband. I got to check with my spouse. I got to check with my accountant, whatever they say. Tip of the day is, hey, I understand. I totally get that. Could I make a suggestion? Sure. Why don't we do this? Why don't we look at doing something that's maybe a bit easier to get started on? Let's get some results. Let's start chipping away at the body fat. Let's start getting our strength levels up. And we can always bump up later and add some sessions. But why don't we start here? You guys would be surprised how many people will happily buy training at that moment. And I really mean happily. You were respectful of their wish to do something, to think about it or to check with the spouse. And instead of challenging that idea, instead of fighting them on that, you just accepted it. You didn't reinforce it. You didn't say, "Oh, yeah, I think you should check with your spouse." You didn't strengthen that objection. You noted it. You showed respect for it. And then you said, well, hey, maybe there's something that fits a little better where you could move forward. That's all that is. I've sold a lot of programs over the years, a lot. And there's been countless times where somebody had their eye on 3 or 4 times a week. They had their eye on the Ritz or the first class in Virgin Atlantic. But we figured out that budget-wise and just the dynamic of the sale, a business class ticket on Delta was just going to be the better fit. Okay, you guys get what I mean. It's kind of a drop down. I'd recommend that you don't drop price. I don't like to sell on price. I've never sold on price. And if you read my stuff on Sales Train, I always tell you guys that price is rarely the issue. Affordability can be the issue, but it's never price, or rarely is it price. I've never had anybody say, well, Dan, $40 for your session is just too much money. It has to be $38.50. That just doesn't happen. That's not how people buy fitness services. A lot of people don't know what a session should be worth. Okay, so it's not that. It's about affordability. Where can you land that there's that place where the desire for training and the affordability or the ability to move forward without maybe a spouse approval, there's that sweet spot, okay? Giving them those options and softly giving those options, right? Like, hey, could I make a suggestion? A lot of our clients, that kind of were in the same boat, this is what they did, and they really liked it. It was easier to get started on. They showed their spouse how serious they were. They made some changes, and a few of them bumped up to do a few more sessions a week. But either way is great. So all of a sudden, you're not hammering this, you're not beating these people over the head. You're just giving them a better option or a softer option, something they can do. I'll tell you a quick story. I was selling in California 2 years ago to a wonderful young lady named Jennifer, very overweight. One of those really fun people to do an orientation with, just somebody you could joke with and somebody that was just a pleasant person. We got to it, and it was husband, 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 husband. Doesn't matter what it is, Dan. It's got to be husband. It's got to be husband. And instead of challenging her husband or saying, oh, what does he know, or one of those silly things that is so wrong, I just gave her a couple more options. I just said, hey, Jennifer, you know what? I totally get it. I really do. Is there maybe, can I make a suggestion? Yes. Is there maybe a program we could get you started on that allows you to take action, allows you to make these changes we talked about, but also keeps things cool between you and your husband, because God knows we want to make sure it's cool. And I flipped over a thing and had an easier start package. And she literally, after she was adamant. She just pointed at it. She's like, oh, I can do that. True story. She pointed at it and said, "Oh, Dan, I can do that. He wouldn't care if I did that." Well, so I wasn't beating her up, and I wasn't attacking the husband. I simply gave her some options that one finally fit. She left happy. She did like, "Here's my credit card." She's like, "I'm psyched. I got a program, and it was great." It was just about giving her that option. So, take home point of the day, guys. There's a lot I'm writing about objection handling. Keep it simple. Just give them an option. Give them an option that's maybe a little softer. Maybe you reduce the frequency of the times per month or the times per week, and you'll be surprised if you just click down one or two programs in frequency. You'll be surprised if you keep it respectful and you ask their opinion, or hey, could I make a suggestion, or hey, in your view, is this a better option? You'll be surprised at what good things happen. And then you get to that point where you've crossed that threshold, you've gotten over the wall, and that you're sensing that this is affordable, this is something they can do. And then you can come in and just say, hey, Jennifer, let's do this. I think I'm sensing this is much more comfortable, it's more affordable for you. Your health is important. These goals are important. Now you've got the opportunity. We've got a plan. We've got it all in front of us. Let's move forward now. Let's take advantage of this. Let's get you on board. And guys, people will nod and smile and many times be like, yep, great. It's the right thing to do. Here, how does it work? How do I pay? And you take care of it from there. So we'll do more on this. I hope you found some of this helpful. Say hi to me anytime at strongersale.org. Salestrain.org. Strongersale@gmail is the email address. You think I can get that right? Yeah, come see me at strongersale.org. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.